To be honest, last year it was just good to be a part of a team what that did well and what I learned really how to win. And I think if you can get off to a good start, it's always good to get a few wins under your belt, and it helps you in the long run.
That's it. A few more wins to start with, or wins to start the season. It starts you off as you mean to go on, doesn't it? So we'll like to ask now the Farr family up to present the shirts to our wingers. To John, otherwise known as Phil, and to Paul, thanks very much. So there's our players. That's your squad for this season. And don't they look good? And now the man who's going to be leading them. I'd like to ask head coach Sean McRae to join me on the stage. From behind. Hello, Sean. How's it going? How's the pre-season gone, and how excited are you about this?
Well, the pre-season's gone really well. We came back into practice about halfway through November. A few guys were missing because of World Cup commitments. A few guys couldn't practice fully because of post-season surgery, but we've got everybody together now. Worked up to Christmas really hard, had a 10-day break, I think, over Christmas. We just got back from Jacksonville. We had 2 weeks in Jacksonville, including the game against the Leeds Rhinos, which was a terrific hit out for us. So we're relatively injury-free, which is tremendous news when you consider we've played 3 games. We played Lee, of course, on the 28th of December. As I said, we played the Leeds Rhinos, and we've just played Widnes on Tuesday night. And each of those games I've seen progressive improvement, which you expect. I think we're probably where we should be right now in terms of conditioning, in terms of our levels. Our skill factor is pretty good. You've seen a number of new players up here tonight that are blended into the organisation very well. So there's no complaints, but with, 2 weeks tomorrow, I think we start the competition. We've got one more game against Hull KR next Friday night, and that's a big match for us because it's probably a final dress rehearsal, and we got an opportunity to test ourselves against very, very good quality opposition at a place that's very hard to go and get a result. So everything's going according to plan at the moment.
KR fancy themselves this season. They had a good game against Warrington, and it's going to be a good indicator for you of where you stand and where they stand, do you think?
Well, there's some very good sides in this competition, and you know, sometimes we work on weekly factors, sometimes we work on months, sometimes we work on over the years. So Hull KR rightly would have an opinion that they believe they could make the playoffs. I doubt if you would interview any coach that says they can't. So perhaps that answers a question that you might have been going to ask, but you know, a number of players have stood up here tonight and said they'd be disappointed if we didn't make the top 8. I would agree with that. I would concur with that. It's just that you don't set out not to be in playoffs. You don't set out not to do well in a Challenge Cup. But of course, only one team can win those competitions. Sometimes one team wins both. Sometimes there's 2 sides that'll win trophies during the year. We want to be part of that, but we realise, of course, that we're moving up in class, and I think you can tell from the development of the players from last year's National League and the recruiting that we've accepted the fact that we're stepping up in class. We're going back into the elite competition, and to be able to handle the rigours of that week in, week out is a very high pressure situation. And you need a good squad, you need a big squad, you need some experienced players, you need some up and coming players who are good enough to handle Super League week in, week out. And I think we've got the right recipe there. You need a bit of luck, and that's something that you really can't factor that into the equation. The luck just sort of comes your way as you go along, and particularly with injuries I'm referring to there.
I say there are lots of little factors that add to it, but momentum has got to be a good one. You had a good season, good for your preparation mentally as well. Can you take that into this season?
Well, I think Paul White summed it up when he said he'd learned how to win, and I think that was something last year was very important. People, if you've ever been involved in sport and you're getting beaten all the time, and people tell you can't win games, you know, there's a confidence factor that goes, and there's a self-belief that goes. So I think last year was all about teaching people again and getting to learn how to win games and getting to play through pressure situations. And we were very successful last year in nearly everything we did. Reflection here with the trophies, of course. But this is different because I would suggest last year nearly every game we played we were probably favourites. I don't know how many times this year we'll be given the favourite tag, and those sort of things don't matter that much if you're confident and you've got that self-belief. So winning is a habit-forming thing, the same as losing is. So we want to start well. We need some momentum to start the season. We want to start well, and that can really be the springboard for your season. So, you know, that's what we're aiming to do. And as I said, at the moment, everything's in place to do that.
It's a good turnout tonight, indicative hopefully of a good turnout all season, and it's really important, and those supporters have been behind you through thick and thin, haven't they?
Our fans are great. Our supporters are fantastic. You know, they supported us last year. There was, you know, I don't really want to go back, whatever it was, 18 months or something, and talk about relegation. You know, but we have to you have to remember your past. History is an important thing to learn from, and these supporters and fans have stuck with us through thick and thin. And you go through good times. Again, we look at these trophies as an indication of success and wonderful times last year. But you know, when you go through your tough times, that's when you really need your support. You need people to hang in there with you, support the team. It won't always be pretty. You won't always win games. But as long as the guys are out there trying and having a go, and we're attempting to be successful, you know, I think people will believe with you, and they will enjoy the journey with you. And our supporters have been terrific. And you know, I know sometimes we don't get the opportunity to thank them enough. And but tonight is a wonderful occasion to launch the season and to see so many wonderful people here of all ages too. Of all ages, I think that's important. Speaks volumes for the future of the club. Thanks very much.
Tough question, final question. 2 weeks to go. Are you ready?
We're ready, yes. You know, we could start this season tomorrow. We're ready. We could start. We'd probably like to be playing tonight on the hallowed turf out here. You know, Friday night at the Willows is a great night to look forward to. But we've got a little bit of work to do. As I said, Hull KR will just top us up nicely. Obviously, we want to get through that game injury-free. That's always a risk factor, but we can't control that. And Celtic Crusaders on Valentine's Day, I don't think there'll be any love lost, but we'll see what happens.
A massacre, but one that you'll like.
Yeah, no, we'll give it a go. It's important for everyone to get away to a good start, but we're as ready as we possibly can be. The staff have done a great job. The players have been terrific in the efforts. We've pushed them beyond certain limits. We've taken them out of their comfort zone, asked them to do things because they're going to be tested this year, so we have to be ready for that. If you don't do that in pre-season, it's very, very hard to play catch-up in season, and I believe that we're ready to go.
Thanks very much for that, Sean. Good luck for the season. I'm sure you'd like to join me in saying good luck to the players again. It's a big season coming up, a lot to prove, and all the teams are thinking that as well. But right.